All right, we're back for the next day here of working with the trailer load with Lily, and we're just gonna start right off. I've been playing around a little bit of groundwork here beforehand, and you always want to make sure you've got that going, but then just take her right into over the trailer, and let's see what she thinks of it today. Hey. So that's pretty nice. She's still thinking about it, but that's still the sticky spot. If you watch the previous video, she'd get in with her front feet okay, pretty easily, but it was stepping up all the way with her hind end is where she gets a little more worried, and so she's still a little bit worried with that today, so we're just still waiting on her. And again, we're just, like she's just saying, I'm going to throw a little pressure. And she's avoiding, so I'm just going to keep the energy there, keep the energy there, till she steps forward. As soon as she steps forward, I release. And we go back to helping her. When she's thinking about it, I leave her alone. When she's not, I'm going to throw a little energy. Yeah. Good. Now I'm going to help a little bit. Just throwing a little energy, soft little taps. There we go. Good girl. Yeah, nice. And so she's coming right on in. And once she gets in here, I'm just going to hang with her a bit. You know, every trailer is a bit different. So like here, I was able to just walk in. Some trailers, you're not able to do that. So you'll stay outside. But if you can and you feel okay with it, I wouldn't come in here if the horse is still feeling real anxious, but she's kind of settling in, standing here, because you want to get to the point where we can close the partition. So if she's standing here quietly, you can come on in, and then we can close it. But I'm not going to do it yet. I'm going to actually ask her to back out again, and then we'll just do it again. Good girl. Because it's not just getting them to be able to load, it's also getting them to be able to unload. It's usually not as big of a deal, but some horses that can be a big deal, is getting them to back. So if you have a horse that doesn't really want to back out, then you might play with a little more backing. Maybe actually ask them to back over a pole, that sort of thing. It doesn't have to be high, but just so they start to learn to pick their feet up and down, stepping in and out, stepping over things. So just give her that for a moment, and then we'll just go right back to it. Come right on over. Just kind of, it's still that sticky spot right there. We're just going to help her. It's like, yeah, you got it. You got it. Just set it up again. There you go. See, her mind's kind of bouncing around right now. And I just want her thinking in. And she's just drawing back, so I'm going to tag her a little bit to ask her to come forward, come off that pressure. And here I'm getting a little bit firmer because she's just going into opposition instead of trying. Because it's not really a fear thing with her right now. It's more of a, no, I don't really want to. Good girl. Stepping right on up. And this time she actually went in a little bit more, a little farther. So that's nice. I'm going to keep her from turning around though. That's one of the things that they'll want to come up here, and then they're going to want to turn around. And I'm just saying, no, you can't turn around. Sometimes I'll have to even use my stick, bringing my stick up there. And she says, oh, I need to come out. So I allow her back out. And then we'll go right back to it again. I'm not going to give her as long of a break here because she was the one who's like, oh, I'm going to come out, instead of me asking her to come out. Yeah. So that's nice. Now I'm going to ask her to step up a little bit more because we're going to start getting her to step in position, not letting her turn around. So can she get up to the point, and I'm just going to lay the rope over her back. And now step to the other side of the panel. I've got to stretch the panel out here. And then just ask her to step on into position there. And she's standing in there nice and quietly and calmly. Don't go closing them in if they're still all worried. If they're like, oh, I need to get back out of here, don't just come in and, as soon as they step up, close everything up. Get to the point where they're going to go in and they're going to stay and they're going to stand. So they're relaxed about it, not anxious and ready just to shoot back out again, because that's where either you're going to get hurt or they're going to get hurt. So wait for them to be relaxed. Then you can come up and close them in. So this is pretty good. So now I'm going to open it, step to the other side, but I'm going to wait. I'm not going to open it if she wants to turn around. I'm going to just keep saying, keep your focus up there. Keep your focus forward. Don't turn around. And then I can come in and put a little feel, a little bump, and say, can you back up now? Yeah. Just taking my time with her. So as she tries, I leave her alone. Just like with the loading part of it. Good girl. Nice. So she's kind of figuring out her feet, where she needs to put them, as she's going in and out. Giving that to her a little bit. And we'll do it one more time here. See if we can get to the point where she's just walking right up to it, stepping right on in, and goes up. And so this time I don't have my stick. I'm just going to use the tail of the rope. Say, come on, step up. As she goes on in, I'm just going to throw the rope over her back. And she steps back out again. So I'm just throwing energy until she comes forward. I put a feel, like she's backing, I put a feel, but I'm only holding to the point that just maybe 10, 20 pounds. I don't keep just holding because I'm not going to be able to hold her. I just have enough feel to say I'm going to make that uncomfortable, but then throw pressure at her with the tail of the rope or with the stick. And then I can throw the rope up and over. She steps on in. Oh, she's wanting to turn around, so I'm just saying no, no. Focus up into. So that's really, I let go of the rope too early, because if I had the rope, then I could have kept her head tipping this way. That was a little bit of in a dangerous position there where I was standing, because she can kind of turn, or she could have kicked out. So those are a few what not to do's. But there she's standing pretty quietly. So now I'm going to just ask her to step on up, close the gate, and there you have it. So then if you need, you can go on up, then you can tie them. So a few safety measures about tying your horse and loading and unloading. So when you go to load them up, close the partition, then go around and tie them. You don't want to just load them up, walk up, tie them, and then close the partition. Because what can happen is the horse can start to back out as you leave, because the partition's not closed yet, and then they hit the end of the rope and they can flail around. So you're going to load them, put them in, close the partition, then go tie them. When you unload them, you're going to untie them first, then come around and open the partition. Because otherwise, if they're still tied up, you open the partition and they start to back out, they're going to hit the end of that rope and then they can flail around. Now, this, you might have your old horse that he's totally cool with that and you can get away with it. But just as a more cautious way, a better way of doing it is always wait to tie them until the partition's closed. When you're loading, always untie them before you open the partition up again, because otherwise you can run into a problem there. So again, I'm going to open the partition, wait on her to say, don't turn, stay there until I can come up and help you out. And here I just put a little rhythm asking to back out. And I also get, asked a lot, should I tie, shouldn't I tie? It really depends a lot on your horse, the type of trailer you have, more than anything. Kind of my rule of thumb is, like with a trailer like this, is a green horse, I'm going to tie them just to keep them from putting their head down and potentially wanting to kind of crawl underneath the trailer, because oftentimes, really skittish green horse, they can get in there and then they want to scoot under. So I just keep their head up from being able to do that. With my old horses, do I tie them? No, because they know I just put them in there, take the lead off, and they're fine because they've been that way. And for long hauls, I like that because then they can actually put their head down if they need to. But use your own discretion on what you think is going to be best. Kind of when you're tying, I don't like to have them real short because then they can kind of be cramped in there. Have it long enough to where they can at least get their head down, to no lower than the bottom of their chest here, but I mean even a little bit higher than that's fine, but not so high that they can't even come down a little bit. So that's trailer loading, and we'll play with this a few more times here. You know, it's not 100%, but it's just a matter of asking her a few more times, because yesterday's video, you know, took a long time because we built the communication, the understanding. Now today, she understands things, but she's still saying, I don't really want to, and so then we have to get a little bit firmer here and there, and then she goes, oh yeah, I remember, and she hops in. So now it's just playing with it enough until she's like, sure, I'll jump in whenever. So hopefully that was helpful. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.